Hello, Councillor Velamer. I think we
Hello
can
there.
hear you. Your mic is on, so I think just want to let you know that.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Before we get started with today's meeting, I want to acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Assiniboine, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Red River Métis. We affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities, including the national government of the Red River Métis, in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. We have one amendment to today's agenda, moved by Deputy Mayor Laughlin, seconded by Councillor Ray. And in addition, addition to number 9D, purchase of portable stage application, and that's for Dauphin Rec Services. Martine will speak to that in a little bit later on in the meeting when we get there. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Sobring, that the council meeting agenda be accepted as amended. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Sobring, seconded by Deputy Mayor Laughlin. Be it resolved that council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of our regular council meeting from March the 23rd. Are there any comments, omissions, anything from those minutes? Seeing none, call for the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving right into the consent agenda. We've got a couple of proclamations today. The first one, I think, is Councillor Sobring.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas Earth Day was first celebrated on April 22, 1970 to inspire an appreciation of the natural world through conservation and protection, and whereas Earth Day marks a renewed commitment to environmental stewardship and to the implementation of efforts to improve, protect, and enhance the environment, and whereas climate change represents the greatest challenge to the future of humanity and the life support systems that make our world habitable, and whereas with urban areas set to become home to 2/3 of the world population by 2050, and as climate change is being observed and experienced at an increasingly local level, cities find themselves at the front line of the battle against climate change. And whereas municipal governments will have a first-hand understanding of community needs and are capable of greater agility to take swift, concrete measures with effects that ripple well beyond local spheres. And whereas as we face mounting environmental challenges, it'll be our towns and cities that will take a leading role in the fight for a more sustainable world. We, the Council of the City of Dauphin, proclaim April 22, 2026 as Earth Day.
Thank you, Councillor Sobring. We have another proclamation, and that is Invasive Species Awareness. I think that's Councillor Ray.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas invasive species, including Dutch elm and emerald ash borer beetles and zebra mussels, can result in the loss of Manitoba's unique ecosystems and native species, and whereas the activities of people are most often responsible for the introduction of a species to a new area, and whereas climate change represents the greatest challenge to the future of humanity and the life support systems that make our world habitable, and whereas preventing the introduction of an invasive species to a new area is the most effective way to manage it, and whereas increasing awareness of the threats of the invasive species will help prevent the introduction and the spread of invasive species. Now, therefore, we, the Council of the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim April 19th to the 25th, 2026 as Invasive Species Awareness Week.
Thank you, Councillor Ray. We've got one outstanding water account to be added to taxes. That's roll number 0249300, $194.22. And the owner did not pay the current water bill and unable to access the curb stop for a shut-off. We have a couple of filing items. Information from the Association of Manitoba Municipalities regarding the 2026 provincial budget. The News Digest from the Mountain View School Division from March 23rd. The Celebrate Canada grant from Canadian Heritage. The Annual Vegetation Management Program from Canadian National Railways. Parkland Chamber of Commerce Chamber Matters for April. Friendship Center newsletter for April. Prairie Mountain Health newsletter for April, and the Growing Manitoba Ag newsletter for April. Moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, be resolved that all items listed in red under 5, the consent agenda be approved and form part of these minutes. Questions or comment? No, there's no questions or comments. We call for the question. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Thank you. Moving right into the corporate reports, moved by Councillor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Sobring. The corporate report for the April 13th meeting by the city manager. Charla has had some dental work done and would prefer to speak as little as possible. So are there any questions in anything listed in her report today? Come on, someone ask a question. We'd like to see some drool dribble down the side of her face. But if there aren't any questions, call for the all in favor. Anyone opposed? Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that we accept as information the corporate report from the Deputy City Manager for March. And Lisa, is there any highlights you wanted to share with us?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Boziak. Election planning is now in full swing here at City Hall. Candidate registration packages will be made available in accordance with legislated timelines, with mayor packages available here at City Hall beginning on May 1st, and councillor packages available beginning June 30th. Interested candidates who have questions can email us at election@dauphin.ca. I'd like to also point out that each year in March, I complete an annual review and preparation of the city's insurance policy for the April 1st renewal each year under the AMM General Insurance Program. So this entails adding newly acquired assets, capital upgrades, and equipment purchases to ensure that we have appropriate coverage, and removing decommissioned or disposed assets from the policy. As you can imagine, we have many assets, and we pay approximately $500,000 in premiums each year, so it's important that we maintain accurate and comprehensive insurance coverage across our operations, property, liability, equipment, and specialized risks. So that's been completed for another year. Thank you.
Any questions or comments anyone has? No call for the question then. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Be resolved that the finance accounts, having been examined by council, be hereby authorized and approved. We had 106 checks in the recent run for a total of $1,428,602.82. And there were 4 EFT transactions for a total of $11,396.49. There were no voided checks in the current or past ranges, and there were no electronic payments during the period. Any questions or comments about anything listed in the financial reports? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Be it resolved that we accept as information the Protective Services report from the Bylaw Enforcement Officer. Is there anything in the Bylaw Enforcement Officer's report that council needs to discuss? Call for the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Ray, that we accept as information the Protective Services report from the Animal Services Officer for the month of March. Anything in that report that needs discussion? Seeing none, call for the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Sobering, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, that we accept as information the minutes from the following committees, and that's the Dauphin and District Handyvan regular board meeting of March the 10th. Any questions or comments regarding anything in those minutes? Call for the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Whereas municipalities across Manitoba submit resolutions annually to the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, AMM, for consideration, review, and adoption at the AMM Fall Convention, and these resolutions form the basis of AMM's advocacy efforts to provincial and federal governments on issues of concern to municipalities. And whereas the AMM provides follow-up to its membership on the status of adopted resolutions, including responses received from relevant government departments, be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated March 31st from Dennis Volkov, the Executive Director of AMM, providing an update on official responses received to the 2025 AMM resolutions. Any questions or comments regarding this? No? Deputy Mayor Loughlin, you're on the resolution committee. Nothing to add? Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Whereas the province supports municipalities through funding programs aimed at enhancing public safety, community well-being, and crime prevention initiatives, be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated March the 27th from Matt Wiebe, the Minister of Justice and the Attorney General, outlining a public safety funding opportunity in the amount of $200,000 available to the city as part of broader efforts to strengthen safety and security within the community. Further be resolved that administration awaits receipt of a grant contribution agreement from the province, which will provide additional details regarding the terms and eligible use of the funding. Any questions or comments regarding this pleasant surprise from the province? No, I just think that, again, it kind of relates, I believe, to the relationship that the city has developed with the provincial government over the last couple of years. And, the conversations that we've had, particularly with Minister Wiebe, and the discussions around the Justice Center and all the other safety initiatives that we've got going and the projects that we have in the community is in good stead for us. So it was good to get this letter from the province. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin and seconded by Councillor Sobring. Whereas at its regular meeting of March 23rd, Council passed resolution number 2026174, approving the listing of the following city-owned properties for sale through Action Realty. That's 101 Johnson Street, 138 4th Avenue Southwest, 108 3rd Avenue Northeast, 301 3rd Avenue Northeast, and 104 8th Avenue Southwest. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information a memo dated April the 9th from the Economic Development Manager recommending a listing price of $15,000 per lot, with the ability to accept offers up to 20% below the listing price, where the purchaser enters into an agreement with the city to construct a dwelling within 24 months. Further be resolved, the Council agrees with the Economic Development Manager's recommendation, approves the listing of the above-noted properties at the price indicated, and authorizes administration to accept offers for the listing price or up to 20% below the listing price, conditional upon the purchase entering into an agreement with the city. Further be resolved that Council authorizes Director of Finance to execute agreements of purchase and sale and any other required documentation on behalf of the city. Questions or comments regarding this? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Daly. Whereas the province, through the Department of Municipal Northern Relations, has approved funding of up to $1.5 million to support the Northgate Trail Network Extension Project, which will expand and enhance multi-use trail infrastructure in the Dauphin region. And whereas the province has requested that the city enter into a project contribution agreement as the funding recipient and flow-through administrator, with the understanding that the city will administer the funds and fulfill all reporting and accountability requirements as applicable. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence dated March 25th from the Honourable Glenn Simard, Minister of Municipal Northern Relations, a project contribution agreement and a memo dated April 9th from the Economic Development Manager regarding funding for the Northgate Trail Network Expansion Project. Further be resolved that Council approves the city acting as the funding recipient and flow-through administrator in accordance with the terms and conditions of the project contribution agreement, and further be resolved that Council authorizes the project contribution agreement and any other required documentation to be signed and sealed by the Mayor and the City Manager on behalf of the City. Questions or comments regarding this resolution? No, I'd again just like to say that the province has been very supportive in this project, and I know that the Northgate Group is eager to pursue it. Some of the principals have been involved for multiple years working with Parks Canada on the design and development of this, and to get the funding in the province with all the work that's being done by the Northgate Group. I think that we'll see tremendous progress on this year, and it will certainly be a boom for us economically from a tourism standpoint in particular. So I'm all in favor of this fully. Are the rest of you, all over the question, all in favor?
I am also all in favor.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Ray. Whereas watershed districts undertake important water retention and flood mitigation projects that contribute to the protection of municipal infrastructure, agricultural lands, and downstream communities. And whereas these projects often rely on volunteer participation from private landowners who may be exposed to potential liability despite projects being engineered, licensed, and completed in accordance with provincial requirements, be it resolved that Council supports the request from the Intermountain Watershed District to have the province, the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, and Manitoba Association of Watersheds review the issue of landowner liability associated with watershed district projects. Further be resolved that Council supports efforts to develop a provincial approach to mitigate or remove liability risks for landowners participating in provincially approved watershed projects. Questions or comments regarding this resolution? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Ray, whereas the Dauphin District Handy Van provides accessible transportation services to residents who are unable to use conventional transit, including seniors and individuals with disabilities, supporting access to medical appointments, essential services, and community activities. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information correspondence from Ann Wagner, the office manager at the Handy Van, requesting a municipal operating grant in the amount of $15,000 for the 26 fiscal year to support accessible transportation services within the community. Further be resolved that Council defers the funding request to our 2026 budget deliberations. Questions or comments? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Whereas the Dauphin At-Risk Teen or DART program provides coordinated interagency supports for high-risk youth and their families in the Dauphin area, working collaboratively with partner organizations to address complex social, behavioral, and mental health challenges and to improve long-term outcomes for participants. Be it resolved, the Council accepts as information correspondence dated March the 23rd from Lori Bickelmeyer, the manager at the DART program, requesting funding in the amount of $8,500 for the 26-27 program year to support the delivery of DART and restart services. Further be resolved that Council refers the funding request to our 2026 budget deliberations. Questions or comments? All in favor? Oh. And approved.
Yes, I'd like to declare conflict of interest for this upcoming resolution, so I'm going to step out for this one.
Thank you very much. We'll call you right back in. Moved by Councillor Daly, seconded by Councillor Stakilo. Whereas the Dauphin Kings Junior A Hockey Club provides high-level junior hockey, supporting youth development and serving as a venue for community events and regional economic activity, be it resolved that Council accepts information correspondence dated April the 6th from Brian Romano, the president of the Dauphin Kings Hockey Club, requesting funding support in the amount of $50,000 for the purchase and installation of a new video screen at Credit Union Place. Further be resolved that Council refers the King funding request to our 2026 budget deliberations for consideration. Questions or comments regarding this resolution? Seeing none, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Deputy Mayor Loughlin. Whereas Dauphin Rec Services, the DRS, hosts a wide variety of community events, including concerts, sporting events, and performances which require safe, efficient, and professional staging, and whereas the current staging systems setup and takedown is labor intensive and does not consistently meet the needs of the organizers, performers, or staff, and whereas a modular portable stage would improve operational efficiency, enhance the quality of events, and support increased revenue through rentals and community use. Be resolved that council accepts this information. A memo dated April 13th from the marketing coordinator at the city recommending the purchase of a portable stage system at a cost not exceeding $40,000. Further be resolved that council agrees with the marketing coordinator's recommendation and approves in advance of the financial deliberations the purchase of this stage for Dauphin Rec services, and that further be resolved that council authorizes the use of the Economic Development and Tourism Reserve Fund for this purchase. Martine, I think you're here to add a little bit of extra context for this resolution.
Yeah, I can. Kathy, can you hear me? I'm not super close. Okay. So, we, as you might recall, council approved the purchase of a pipe and drape system last year for DRS to purchase to be able to better put on events and to reduce some of the costs that they would normally have in having to rent these systems. And it all goes back to the vision that we have, is to try to create a community where we're pro-event, where we try to promote our community as a destination for events, and therefore increase our hotel and overnight capacity. So this kind of falls in the same line. There was, as you might recall, 3 wishes on that list: pipe and drape, a podium, and a new flooring system. So we all knew that the new flooring system is quite a bit more expensive. It's going to take us a little more time to think that one through. So we figured that this year would be a good one to go ahead and purchase the stage. So we've done some research, and then we talked to DRS to see what system they would like to see, and we came up with this proposal. It's a very versatile, easy to set up stage system. It comes in 4x4 panels. Its total size is 24 by 20, and one person can set it up, as opposed to having to use a forklift to move in big boxes. The current stage is also 48 inches high, which is actually too high for a stage. And this system will be 32 inches. It comes with railings and stairs and the whole everything, industrial flooring. And the nice thing about this is that we will be able to use it outside as well. For example, for our Canada Day celebrations or events at the Watson Arts Center. So that's where this request came from. We could have waited till budget time to get this done, but Kate's Outlaw just announced a concert at the Credit Union Place. And considering their date and the delivery time for this stage, we're making this request for purchase today. So that way we're gonna be able to have the stage delivered before the concert. So that's kind of where that comes from.
And that'll come from like you said, from the ECDEV reserve.
Yes, it comes out of the same as the pipe and drape system. Will come out of the Economic Development and Tourism Reserve, and that's our portion of the accommodation tax revenue that's in that reserve. So,
Comments, questions? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried. Thank you, Martine, for the added context. Next item, moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Stigalo, be resolved that we accept as information an invitation from Canada's National Korean Festival, a letter to me in regards to attending the Friday Night Grandstand, providing a video welcome, and also an invite to participate or an ask to participate in the festival parade. I've responded to them with an email saying, yeah, I'm interested, I'll do that, and I guess I'll look forward to someone to help make me look good on a video. So I'm practicing Ukrainian speech, so yeah, I'll look out for that. So yeah, make my lips move. All in favor? Anyone opposed to me doing that? Oh. All in favor. Thank you. Moved by Councillor Ray, seconded by Councillor Daly. Be resolved that we accept the following information regarding a community event, and that's the Dauphin Sharps Committee and Manitoba Harm Reduction Network, their community spring cleanup on May the 7th. Councillor Daly or Ray, do you have any additional information you can add about that?
No, it's be the same as last year. Meeting will take place in CN Park, and it starts at 1 o'clock till 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
No, Councillor Daly and I had a contest last year. Who could have the biggest bag of garbage when they got back to the... You won, didn't you? Yeah, yeah. All in favor? Anyone opposed? Carried. Here we go. It's that time again. You get ready, kid, because soon, but not first. Yeah. Councillor Bellemare, since you've been rustling your speaker there off and on, I think you want to go first. That was a signal. So the council reports, we're going to call on Councillor Bellemare first. Take it away.
All right. Yes, I'm not sure what this buzzy computer is all about, but I guess some white noise happening here. On March 24th, I attended the DBAAC meeting where we worked on revising the policy manual. And then March 24th, I attended a Riverside Cemetery Board meeting. And around the community on March 25th, I attended the CNUF 60th anniversary video. And congratulations to, okay, sorry, Charlotte, I just read your thing here about my mic being muffled, so I don't know. Move it closer, does that help? Okay, there's something, okay. Okay, so I'll just start over about the anniversary video. Congratulations to that organization. 60 years is pretty amazing. And also Grow Media was the group responsible for that production, and they did a great job. Is this any better? Okay. Upcoming this weekend, the Business Expo is happening here in Dauphin. So come to the arenas here to see what local businesses are up to. And they have lots to offer you and your family. And then just kudos. Thank you for everyone involved in digging everyone out this weekend, city staff and businesses and friends and neighbors. Eventually, this winter is going to end. So that concludes my report.
Thank you. It sounds like you're having a vacation in a barrel. And I hope that's a nice barrel because...
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Good to know. Thank you.
Can you turn off your mic then, Kathy? Because we're getting a reverb back from you. Yeah, thank you. Where do we go next? How about Councillor Ray? You look ready.
I am. Thank you, Mayor. March 23rd, I attended our last regular council meeting. On the 25th in the morning, Councillor Daly and I met with Susan McKenzie, the president of the Pickleball Club, to listen to her concerns. Later that afternoon, I attended the rec committee meeting at the Cup. 27th, I chaired the band committee meeting here at City Hall. And on this morning, I attended, or at lunchtime, I attended the Community Advisory Board meeting at the Métis Community Center. Just a couple announcements. The city concert and jazz bands will be performing at the DRCSS on May 6th at 7 p.m. They also are setting up a table at the Business Expo on April 17th, 18th. And the concert band plans on playing in the Ag Society Parade in July. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councillor Daly, are you next?
I guess so. Thank you. I attended the March 23rd regular council meeting. On March 25th, attended with Councillor Ray to discuss pickleball and court issues within the city with Susan McKenzie, who's the current president of the Dauphin Pickleball Association officially. Then I went to the vet study group hosted a town hall at Aspen Lodge, later that afternoon. Our next two will be Morden, which was, I think, this last Wednesday, which I did not make. And this upcoming Wednesday, this Wednesday will be in Neepawa, which we'll attend and then hustle back here for council meeting at 5. Very interesting feedback and conversations being held around the province on the vet study group with respect to vet service districts and how they may operate going forward. March 27th, we had a quick meeting in the mayor's office about field house information and just general talk about how that might get forwarded. And start the push up the hill on that one. And that's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Daly. I'll turn it over to Councillor Sobering next.
All right. Push up the hill here, this report. I'm going to just keep it brief. I didn't have too many meetings, a couple for the cemetery and a few for handyvan. One just around in the handyvan space. Obviously, fuel is a concern for everybody now. And the handyvan is very dependent on that as one of our costs and rising vehicle costs. So we're working on a multitude of ways to raise funds and keep costs for community members low or affordable. And the other thing, there's a couple things in today's meeting. I didn't get excited as much as I should have when the 1.5 million was announced for Northgate. That is a very significant investment from the province. I'm glad the city's supporting it. I think it's going to be one of the things we look back on where there's probably a lot of things going on around the world, but this is one of the ones that's a real positive impact, and not just for the city and surrounding communities, but I think as a province. So I'm pretty excited about it. So I hope that makes up for my lackluster response during the meeting. And the other $200,000 towards the safety, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of discussion going forward on that, but even things that we've been working towards, this is going to make this just that much more effective: graffiti removal and safety and patrols. And I know communities struggle with it, as does Dauphin, but I love to see the doing. So I'm excited that there's some resources to kind of make those things happen. So with a fresh spring, comes fresh optimism and enthusiasm. So that ends my report.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Loughlin, you're next.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For me, pretty quiet time too. The last couple of weeks here, just had that regular council meeting on March 23rd, but it's going to get busy here. Obviously, this week there's budget deliberations coming up for us here at City Council, and the Association of Manitoba Municipalities Spring Conventions next week. So looking forward to all those items too. And as Councillor Bellemare mentioned, the Business Expo going on this weekend at the Parkland Rec Complex. I think this is one of the biggest ones ever. Myself, as the Dauphin Kings, will be there. But I know that I think they have at least 110, 120 businesses that are going to be throughout the Curling Rink, Credit Union Place, and in the lobby as well. So make sure you check that out this Saturday and Sunday. And again, that's it for my report.
Thank you. Councillor Sticalo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, my report goes back to March 9th, as I was absent for the 23rd meeting. But that was due to the fact that I was attending a hockey game, more specifically the Dauphin High School Clippers hockey game in Brandon on the 23rd. It was game 3 of the playoffs in the final series. I was there attending due to a vested interest with a kid on the team. So congratulations to the team. Unfortunately, they lost 3-2 in regular time and really had a great season and a good playoff run, but just couldn't get past Vincent Massey this year again for the second year in a row. But congrats to them and congrats to Vincent Massey. March 9th, regular council meeting for myself. March 16th, planning and priorities meeting. And then on April 9th, we had a quick airport budget meeting just to discuss the upcoming budget that will be presented to council this week. And yeah, that ends my report. Thanks.
Thank you. Jake, anything going on at that school?
Not much has changed since my last report. However, the DRCSS Mamma Mia play is officially sold out all 3 days, so the actors are motivated to do their best, and that'll conclude my report.
Mamma Mia, Mamma Mia.
I sing that twice, actually.
Just a couple things for me, just to follow up on the announcement from the province regarding the Northgate. Being also wearing a hat with the Northgate committee people, so city hat, Northgate. We met with Tom Sheldon a couple times since the last meeting in trying to figure out all the details that must fall into place probably rather quickly, in the sense that so in addition to having external funding for a project that's entirely in national park, the interesting thing is getting the support from Tom and all of his staff, and actually he's talked to his executive directors and up the chain in Parks Canada, where this will also become a bit of a test project, in the sense that it's one of the biggest projects in a national park that's funded by primarily or or almost exclusively external partners, which the Parks Canada has been talking about a model like this for a while, but it's been on smaller things. So they are absolutely very pleased as well that literally the entire capital cost for the work to be done is already in place from an external source. But you can imagine the complications in doing it in a national park with all of the environmental and archaeological and other relationships that are involved. So it's very heartening to see the urgency and the engagement from the superintendent to make sure that that all happens on their end as Northgate works with the city and the province on our end to get it going. So I'm really looking forward to the summer and the fall, primarily, probably this year for construction. And there's no real knowing of how much work will actually be done this year where it might be completed, which is kind of unique in the sense that half the project could be completed now, in the sense that the environmental and the archaeological and habitat assessments have all been done. So the green loop and part of the blue loop, or the bottom half of the project, already has thumbs up go from all of the agencies or organizations within the federal government that would maybe put a delay on it. So they'll be working hard on getting that top half also archaeologically and otherwise approved. And so it's just a great thing all around in terms of the provincial support, the federal government support, our city support, and obviously the volunteers at Northgate and their ability to get stuff done. So really looking forward to that project as it proceeds. Further to that, and I attended a meeting on Saturday, the 28th, with Parks Canada and all the other trail organizations and partners around the park to discuss. Parks Canada has now started an biannual actually, trail symposium where they're bringing all the partners together and having discussions. So everybody's excited as we are, maybe not quite as much, but all the other partners want to see this thing work because they know that if it can happen on the north end, it can also happen on the east end, and it can happen on the west end of the park. And it's certainly has happened around Wasagaming and the Clear Lake area itself. So this is just a tremendous opportunity for us. So really looking forward to how that plays out. And just tomorrow, for those of you that will be attending, it's the Chamber's annual regional State of the District. I'll be saying a few things on behalf of the city, as well as other members from local municipalities. So that's coming up tomorrow. So that ends our report. So we'll call for the question. All in favor? Anyone opposed? And of course, we'll accept those reports. And moved by Deputy Mayor Loughlin, seconded by Councillor Daly, be resolved that council meeting be recessed at